Hey, what is up guys, it's Galaxytech Darklord here, coming at you guys today with a brand new update for my Blue Eyes deck. It's undergone a couple of changes now that I've had some time to look at, other builds, and it wasn't really built to work without alternative, so I actually have all the cards this time, which is good. Sorry for my inactivity as well, because I've had a lot of stuff to do, and the game isn't that interesting for me at the moment. I think the most fun deck to play with is still Draco Pals, and it's not as good as it used to be because Konami have just destroyed it in the ban list and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, getting on with the deck profile. 3 copies of Blue Eyes. I think that's very self-explanatory. It's a Blue Eyes deck. 3 copies of Dragon Spirit of White. So it clogs a bit, but I've got 3 trade in, and I find if I run it at 2, I find myself running out of them really quickly. Then 3 copies of Sage. You want to run this card, you want to see it in your hand, and complementing it with 3 Maiden, because this gets your rank 8 engine going without alternative, I guess. Then 3 copies of what I like to call Better Whitestone. Whitestone of Ancients, it's the one that special summons a Blue Eyes from deck during end phase. Then 1 Whitestone, 1 copy of Master, because it helps recycle your Sages and Maidens, and it can also work in the graveyard if you discard it with something. Then 1 Kinkabayo, because this actually throws people off when you make Formula Synchron with it. Then lastly, 2 copies of Veiler, because it's searchable with Sage, and you can just stop your opponent from doing anything. So yeah, those are the monsters. Onto the spells. 3 copies of Trading. Of course, we've got a lot of level 8s in this deck. Can discard them. 3 copies of Silver's Cry, because we put normal monsters in the graveyard, and Dragon Spirit is also a normal monster, so yeah, really good to special summon it back, especially if you've set this and you can use it during your opponent's end phase. Then 2 copies of Swing of Memories, because this is a 3rd and 4th Silver's Cry. If we had Gospel of Revival, or whatever they're going to call it in the TCG, I would run that instead of this, but until then, I'm going to run Swing of Memories. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Mausoleum, because while I don't run Terraformings to back it up, and I don't want to see it all the time, it does help with additional normal summons. So for instance, if you don't have Maiden in hand but you've got a Sage, you can activate this, summon Sage, search Maiden, summon Maiden, and use this effect to target it. It basically gets your Maiden engine going, which is pretty good. But of course it'll be cut when we get alternative. Then 2 copies of Dragon Shrine, because, dragons. Then 2 copies of Cards of Consonance. 2 copies of Wear Off Thou. I was running 3, but it also clogs a bit. Basically, another way to search your level 1 tuners. Then 2 copies of MST, because I don't like Twin Twisters in this deck. I generally end up having to discard cards that I kind of need. So, yeah. Then, lastly, 1 Soul Charge and 1 1-for-1. So there's no traps in this deck. There's 20 monsters and 20 spells. Getting onto extra deck. 1 Twin Burst. Then 2 copies of Spirit Dragon. This is your general go-to synchro. It helps get to all the rest of the synchros that we run. So then we run 2 Azure Eyes. This is your primary target with your Spirit Dragon. Then for generic stuff, playing Leo, because we play Formula Synchron. I'll cut Stardust Spark when I get a Crystal Wing, but at the moment they're quite pricey. 1 copy of Michael, because this is another card we can make with silver. It has some really good uses. You would pair this with a level 1 tuner to make Crystal Wing, but of course I don't have Crystal Wing, but Then lastly for Synchros, 1 Formula Synchron. This is how we make Leo. You go Kinkabayo into a level 1 tuner, into this, gets you an extra draw. If you have a Blue Eyes, you can go for Leo. You have a 3100 untargetable. So yeah, that's all the synchros and fusions, I guess. Then Xyz monsters, very generic stuff. 1 Hope Harbinger, 1 Felgrand, 1 Tachyon, 1 copy of Heliopolis, 1 copy of Full Armor to get cards out of the way, and 1 copy of Dark Matter. Not so much to dump dragons into the graveyard because we run out of them, but more to get the double attack in, because this card beats over almost everything. So yeah guys, that just about brings me to the end of the deck profile. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to suggest improvements, and subscribe for more content. Peace out.